All right. So what I was thinking about earlier today was talking about how no one really knows what they're doing in fantasy. It's all guesswork. And the reality that some teams are going to be good that we think are bad, and some things that are going to be bad that we think are good. I mean, the Packers may be this year's Seahawks, and the Buccaneers may just be the Buccaneers. They may not be anything better than we think they are. Like this year's Rams, on the other hand, may be this year's Bills or this year's Eagles. So how we figure these things out. Now, if you haven't heard yet, Cooper Kupp re-injured his hamstring today, and there were already enough bells and whistles to say maybe you should think about not drafting Cooper Kupp. Well, I shouldn't say you, I should say me. There's enough bells and whistles about Cooper Kupp to make me say maybe I shouldn't draft Cooper Kupp this year. And in fact, like my friends and family league that I did a couple nights ago, I actually passed on him with the fifth overall pick and just took the unicorn, Travis Kelce, against my best guess that Father Time will actually beat Travis Kelce this year. But I'm really concerned about Cooper Kupp. And the injury just says now maybe I should stay away from him entirely in my high stakes leagues that's coming up this weekend. So if you're still behind the eight ball, a little behind, the Cooper Kupp is 30 years old. The Rams were really bad last year. They're duct taping their team together with some bubble gum, and they're going to roll out for the season and try and compete against a team that may have won the Super Bowl if they didn't have two quarterbacks go down in the NFC Championship game, and another one that went down, another starting quarterback that went down during the season. We're going to forget about Trey Lance here. The point being is I don't know how the Rams have a pathway to anything other than mediocrity this year, and losing Cooper Kupp is probably not a very good indication that they're going to be competitive. He's 30. Who knows what the offense is going to be like, and he has to eventually look out for himself. If he's got any gas left in that tank, he may not want it to be on a rebuilding Rams team. These are just my general thoughts. So all the pundits out there that are saying, here's Cooper Kupp, a guy that could have like 200 targets, 150 targets. Like, I don't know what they were looking at, because they're like, even in a bad offense, he was getting all these targets last year. I think he was averaging like 12 targets a game before he went down. I already pointed this out. If the Rams were willing to throw the ball 12 times to Cooper Kupp and lose games, because everybody knew they were throwing the football to Cooper Kupp 12 times, and the Rams were still losing. So, you can keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. But eventually, if your point is to not lose, you have to do something else. So why are we here today? Well, there's no such thing as value in fantasy football. Like, point to me the last guy that fell down draft boards for whatever reason, and then actually came back and returned his value on his investment. It just doesn't happen. So if you want to gamble and take Cooper Kupp in the late first or the second or the third or whatever, you're more than welcome to. I probably won't do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to see opportunity, and the opportunity, if you haven't heard about it yet, is Puka Nacua, the Rams' 5th round pick out of BYU. Now, the reason why Puka Nacua fell in the draft was not because he's not good at football. It's because he's been injured. And so far this year, from what I've heard, and this is just general stuff off the internet, the Rams actually like Puka Nacua. And, it's like, well, yeah, because he's good at football and you got him at a good value in the draft, because there's actually value in the NFL draft, unlike value in fantasy football. So we look at Puka Nacua and his measurables, even though the Rams' unofficial depth chart is Puka Nacua is behind Tutu Atwell. Though Tutu Atwell's undersized and fast, probably better off in the slot than on the perimeter. Puka Nacua does not necessarily translate to be Tua Atwell unless he's playing like more of a big slot role. And Van Jefferson is another guy, slightly undersized in weight, another burner on the perimeter. Puka Nacua does not translate to him. Puka Nacua translates almost directly into what we see with Cooper Kupp. They're technicians, they're good athletes. And Puka Nacua at 6'2", 205, coming out at a 4.57. And we look at Cooper Kupp here. When Cooper Kupp came out of college, he's 6'2", 208. I got his measurables down here. Almost 6'2", 204, runs a 4.62 coming out of college. So they're essentially the same guy. And now all we need to have Puka Nacua is be a good technician, and that's what we get replacing an injured Cooper Kupp. Now, they were already talking, the rumor has it that they were talking about Puka Nacua coming in and taking over the old Robert Woods role, which is going to be obviously fantasy relevant. So when we look at Cooper Kupp's first 2 seasons, he didn't necessarily light the world on fire. It wasn't until like his 3rd season that he lit the world on fire. And then there's issues, and then obviously league winner Cooper Kupp in 2021. So I'm not going to look at taking Cooper Kupp at a discount. I'm just going to put Puka Nacua at the bottom of my bench for nothing, for free. And if he doesn't work out week 1, roster churn. If he does work out week 1, I just found myself a league winner, and I don't have to be the guy that's like, oh, Jackson Smith-Njigba, I have to go up and get, or Zay Flowers, I have to go get, or Quentin Johnson, I have to worry about it. Can he actually run routes and catch the football? No, I can just go take a late round flyer on Puka Nacua and see how he works out. Because if there's 12 targets a game that are available, I think it's going to go to this guy. So anyway, that's about all I have to say today. Maybe I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.